Hey there, boils and ghouls. It's your friend Taryn Tats, and I'm back with a different kind of video. Um, yeah, I did something I haven't done since 2019. I actually went out to the theaters and I watched a movie again. And it's hard to believe. The last movie I actually saw in the theater, like I said, was 2019. That was Joker. That was the last time. And yeah, there was a movie that actually, got me, got my, attention up, got me interested, and got me wanting to go out and see a film in the theater again. And that movie, you already know by the title of the video. The movie is Evil Dead Rise. And I just got home from, I needed a few minutes, I got home just a little bit ago from watching it. Just kind of needed a few minutes to kind of collect my thoughts on it. And honestly, like, I loved it. I really did. I loved it. I just like I am like I just feel so like calm and peaceful and just like I know that sounds crazy when I just say I got done watching an Evil Dead movie. I feel like I feel like I should be like all kind of amped up and stuff like that, but just it was beautiful. Watching that movie, it was a beautiful experience. I really enjoyed it. Um, I've always been an Evil Dead fan. I've always loved the franchise. The original Evil Dead, I was like the very first, the 1981 Evil Dead. That's a movie it's just to me is one of my absolute all-time favorite movies. That with the original Halloween and the original Chainsaw Massacre, those are just three movies I could watch anytime. I could just sit down and watch them day or night, doesn't matter. Evil Dead 2 is a masterpiece. I really enjoyed that movie as well. Um, you know, and Army of Darkness, I really enjoyed too. I know a lot of people didn't care for Army of Darkness because that became more of like a adventure comedy kind of a film and not so much of a horror film and stuff. Um, Ash versus Evil Dead, that is an amazing series, and I know this is going to be controversial for some people, but I got to be honest with you. I'm going to tell you the God's honest truth. When it comes to the Evil Dead franchise, like I think of all the movies and and the TV show, I got to be honest. To me, the 2013 Evil Dead is probably my least favorite of the entire what's been done to this date. You know, like if I had to rank it, I would probably say the original Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, Ash versus Evil Dead, then Army of Darkness, then this, then the 2013 remake. I'm sorry, but that's just okay. If you love the 2013 remake, I'm not hounding you about that or anything. I'm just saying that's just my opinion. But the movie was just so good, and it was just it's really in a lot of ways this is what I wanted from the 2013 remake, which was to kind of take what had been done before, but kind of do their own thing with it, and that's what this movie did. And there were a lot of things I loved about it. Yes, the movie was gory, but I mean that's the thing, you know, yeah, it's gory. It's pretty gory at a lot of spots, but at the same time, I kind of felt like I've seen gorier. But I'm not trying to poo-poo on the movie. I'm not trying to be a snob or anything. It just, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love this movie, and I promise you, I know I know they announced a 4K over in the UK, but I'm really, really seriously hoping that we are going to get, an American 4K of that movie because I want to buy it the minute it comes out. I really want to buy it. I want to have it and add it to my Evil Dead film collection. I totally want it. But yeah, just everything about it worked. Kind of, it's like we had one of the things I thought, that I didn't care for in the 2013 remake was the fact that, I mean, clearly what they were doing in the 2013 remake was, you know, they were going to do a bait and switch, where like the whole movie, for the most part, you think the David character is going to be the hero. He's going to be kind of like the new Ash and everything else. And then, they do the bait and switch, and it turns out that Mia is actually going to be the hero. And it's like, while it's a different choice, it just kind of like, it kind of, for me personally, it just kind of left me feel a little bit empty because like the Mia characters, like they didn't really do anything with her. It's all we saw. She just, the moody, bitchy drug addict, and that was it. And then just she shows up like the last 10 minutes of the movie and she defeats the evil, and boom, there you go. It's all everything's said and done. and I just, that just didn't really all that set that well with me. And I felt like they really fixed it with this movie. I know there are already a couple of videos. I haven't watched them, but I know there are a couple of videos talking about whether this movie Evil Dead Rise is woke, and I really do not feel that it is. No, I mean there would have been a difference. Like there would have been such a difference if this movie was woke. Yeah, I mean, it's like yes, okay, you have a female lead, and and she ends up becoming, she becomes the hero and stuff. But the way they did it was perfect. You start with a character who is she's good, but she's got flaws. Excuse me, sorry. She's good. She's good, but she's got flaws. She yeah, it turns out she's not really the best sister in the world, and she's a bit of a hot mess. But as the movie goes along, she goes through a hero's journey, and she becomes a better character. And then by the end of the movie, you are rooting for her, and that to me that was a really great way that they did that. If the movie was woke, here's the thing: if the movie was woke, like nothing would have been a problem. You know, like she would have been absolutely perfect. She would have been flawless. She never would have made a mistake. She just everything she did, is like that would be the thing. She would just be like, if it was woke, that's how they would have done it. Like when the Deadites people start becoming possessed. Okay, for one thing, if it was woke, you never would have had women being possessed by the demons anyway. If it was woke, it just would have been straight white guys, you know. So you kind of got like a little bit of a mixed bag of people becoming possessed and stuff like that. If this was woke, that's what I'm saying. It's like no, the women never would have been possessed. It just would have been the guys, you know. But and like I said, just you have a character. She starts off. Yeah, she's kind of got to get. She really. The what's her name, Beth. Yeah, she needs to get her. She needs to kind of get her crap together and kind of realize because now she's pregnant, she's going to have a child and all this kind of stuff. But, she does realize like throughout the course of the movie, it's like she's scared, she's scared of the idea of becoming a mom and everything else. But, come to realize like actually she'd be pretty good at it, And I like that one of the things I really loved about the movie too was, and I got okay, real quick before I get on to that, it's like the actresses who played the two lead characters, the sisters, Eth and Belly? Beth and Ellie, sorry. But the two actresses who played the parts, I think they did phenomenal jobs. Um, the actress, I'm sorry, I don't remember the actress's name right offhand, but the one who played Beth, I think she, kind of like, she was able to give her a bit of sympathy, and she didn't come off as like, like cocky or like overassured or anything like that. She didn't sit there. She didn't have like an air of like arrogance or anything to her. You know what I mean? She just, she didn't come off as like, oh, I'm so self assured. Nobody can defeat me and all that. It's like she didn't come off that way, but she did a great job. And then the actress who I want to definitely say the actress who played Ellie, I got to that's a standout performance in my book. It really is. I mean, she managed to go just, in terms of the physicality of everything, is like when Ellie becomes possessed, in terms of the physicality, what she was able to do with her body motions and her movements, her facial gestures and everything else, she was really able to work within the makeup and all that kind of stuff. And it's like I was just so blown away by her performance. I think she did phenomenal. I think pretty much the acting across the board is, absolutely wonderful in the movie. A couple of characters are kind of like, okay, but I will say kind of what was the daughter, the older daughter, not the younger daughter. What was her name? Bridget. Yeah, I would say she was kind of a little. She kind of got on my nerves a little bit, but not too much. Not to the point. Oh God, um, but yeah, I mean, of course, not exactly the most lovable characters in the world, but then again, too, it's like it's Evil Dead. You're not really going for, deep psychological performances or anything like that. You're going for the chaos and the blood and the gore and the spectacle of it and everything else. And the movie, you definitely get that. You totally get that, and it's, but just yeah, God, I'm trying to think about. I love the one of the things I really loved about it too. I loved all the nods that they did to previous Evil Dead films, including the remake. It's like you could see like no, I don't know if I want to get in. I don't really want to give away spoilers or anything for somebody who hasn't seen the movie, but yeah, you do get like you get nods to the original films, like Dead by Dawn, and all this other kind of stuff. You do get a couple of little hints of like the original Evil Dead and Army of Darkness and stuff, and just overall, I just felt like I think they kind of I really do think that probably what ended up happening is the writer director, what was it, Lee Conklin, I think. I'm sorry, but yeah, I think he kind of like I think him and Raimi and Tapper and Bruce Campbell and all them. I think they sat down and they kind of like, okay, these were all the criticisms of the 2013 remake. Let's see if we can avoid those, and they did. They avoided a lot of it, and they kind of, they knew, it's like okay, yeah, the fans know what works and everything else, and like one thing that I thought was really nice was that when the people become possessed in this movie, it goes back more to the old school Evil Dead where the demons are much more, they're more psychologically torturing you and everything else. It's not just just constant cursing. What was it? Let me take your cock, pretty boy, and all that stuff, and you motherfucker, and all that kind of stuff. It's like it wasn't just Rob Zombie, dialogue, but but yeah, just and that was another thing too. I love the idea of opening up the scope of it, in doing kind of like an Evil Dead universe, and hopefully that's something that we can see. Hopefully that's something that we'll get. And the movie does set it up that yeah, it is set up to where it's like it could really expand on the Evil Dead universe. I like that it at the beginning of the movie it starts at a cabin, but then it goes now we're going to kind of start going global and worldwide. That was one of the things I loved about the show Ash versus Evil Dead. Is like it takes it. Yeah, there were times they would go back to the cabin on occasion, but it was as the seasons progressed, it was getting bigger and bigger, and it was becoming more of a worldwide thing, and all this kind of stuff. And I really love that, and I like that idea, and I like the fact this movie did the same thing. It takes it out of the cabin and and all, and takes it to a different setting, and kind of get like a new environment, new characters, and everything else. And so yeah, just overall, I absolutely loved it, and I think I said everything I needed to say on it. But just yeah, just I'm so happy I went to see it. It was a really pleasant experience. My first time going to the theater in 4 years, but I really loved it. I did, and yeah, I can't wait for this. It's like this comes out 4K, baby. I'm buying this sucker. I'm gonna get it, and I just I'm so happy. I'm so happy that we got some new Evil Dead. Even though, and I do like my friend Glenn at BDG reviews. He does. He mentioned this. He was the one who brought it up. It's like the idea is that if you watched Army of Darkness, that there were three Necronomicons, and this is kind of like a different kind of setting and everything else. Where this is one of the three Necronomicons from Army of Darkness, and you could definitely see that in the movie. And I think they even mentioned that on the record when the son he's listening to the record. And just I think that's an awesome idea. I think it's a great concept, and that is something I really honestly hope that they do in future movies. So yeah, so I'm so happy I got to see some new Evil Dead, and I walked out of that theater with a big smile on my face, and I got everything I wanted. I mean, okay, sure, you don't really have the Ash type character, and the humor is completely. This movie has there's very little to no humor in this movie. So if you're worried about like, oh, guys are going to be like Army of Darkness with a bunch of jokes, no, there's no humor in this. It's played very straight, and that's the thing. I think that's another thing too that really impressed me about it, is the fact that it is played so straight, and that usually a lot of times a horror movie that can when you try to play it so straight. It's like, yeah, you could kind of sink a horror film that way, but sometimes you kind of need that little bit of humor to kind of balance it out and everything else. But this here, it worked. Everything about it worked. It was brutal. It was tough. It was gory. It was It was. I was so glad. It lived up to the hype. All the hype I've been hearing about people. Oh, I love this movie. It's so great and everything else. I'm so happy though too. I mean, to me, it totally lived up to the hype, and I'm glad I saw it. So yeah, I think I got out everything. I just wanted to get out what I wanted to say about it, and yeah. So that's it. So Evil Dead Rise. Yeah, if you're an Evil Dead fan, I think you're gonna. If you haven't seen it already, go see it. I think you're gonna enjoy it. So, but yeah, man, I do. Like day one, 4K. I want to buy that sucker as soon as it comes out. So anyway, so that's it. I'm doing is repeating myself now. So if anybody took the time to watch this video, I thank you for doing it. I appreciate you for doing it. I honestly hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, would you please leave a like? If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And there's going to be more, reviews and everything else coming. So that's it. So take care of my boils and ghouls. Have a good night, and I'll see you later.